What do you say we just go for it, Chicky?
Let's do it. All right, we should be recording now.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Director Bound Take Two. What is this? Is this officially the third one or the second one?
It's officially the second call, but we have had three because we did a kickoff call.
Yeah, I thought they labeled it the second call, but regardless, it is called Bookings at Your Shows. So by now we have been talking about your calendar, talking about how to get shows on your calendar, starting with your launch list and getting yourself organized, your notebooks to write down your leads and all that. And then the last time we were talking about how to prospect outside of shows. So at this point, we're going to assume you are into shows. You are doing your shows. So we are going to talk to you a little bit more about that. Here are some housekeeping rules that we want to talk about, some courtesy line things to think about. Be in a quiet place with minimal distractions. We've closed our door if you're joining us. Participants are muted when joining the call. We're going to click the microphone to unmute during the Q&A because we want to hear you talk to us. Of course, in this case, Christina and I are just talking to you and doing it ourselves. But for future calls, just always keep these rules in mind so that we can have a successful call without a lot of other distractions. But if you're a little bit like me and rabbits hop across your screen, those other noises will distract you, and we want this to be the best for you. So mute yourself when you're done speaking and refrain from using the chat feature during the call unless the leader requests the chat. So that's so that we're not all looking at that and reading that and not listening to what great information Christina and I are sharing with you all, right?
Right, absolutely.
Okay. So first we thought we'd do a little bit of recognition and accountability. And since you guys aren't on with us, you got a little bit of a pass because you can just say, oh, I got a cram session coming up so that I can get this in before my leader calls me and finds out what I have or haven't done. So last week's call to action was to hand out 10 new mini catalogs. That's because we were talking about prospecting outside your shows, and the best way to do that is to have something in your hand. Now, several of us were out doing vendor events this weekend, so we know that we have done that. Make 15 contacts a week outside of your show. That's during your power hour. We have talked about that. And if that still confuses you, please reach out to your director. We love it when you reach out to us, and we don't think less of you if you ask us questions over something that we've already discussed with you. Believe me, we know you're digesting a lot of information. We have had to ask things repeatedly over our years too, so please don't think that we're going to think less of you. We'd rather you ask the question and get clarification than to just pass it by. Track your contacts and ratios in your notebook that we've all talked about. We all have our little notebooks that we keep things in. Ratios are important because that helps you understand just how many phone calls you need to make, how many contacts you need to reach out to get a yes. And so please make sure that you do that. The only way you actually earn things and accomplish things is if you're actually tracking it. Otherwise, it's just the luck of the draw. And I don't know that we have too many Irish people in our team here, but we don't want to go by luck. We want to know that we have done this ourselves and that we've earned it and worked hard for it. Right?
I do just want to jump in here real quick and just say that, a lot of times you don't see the fruition from your call right away. So don't be discouraged and give up. There's a saying with direct sales that what you do today affects your business 90 days from now. So when you're taking the time and putting in those calls, if you're leaving messages, if you're sending text messages, be sure that you're just touching base to follow up where you're not overwhelming them with phone calls, but at least trying to show them that you're making an effort. And then it might not happen this month, but next month that person might call you and go, I'm so sorry, we were swamped and I'm ready. So you just never know. And that's why it's so important to track it, to know what you've done so that you can be sure to follow up with your notes the next time you talk to them.
Right. Very good. All right. And then she was talking about leaving messages, text signature, email, tagline, things like that. Okay. Leave some of these messages. We're going to work on creating a 30-second commercial here in a little bit. And that's something that you should always have ready on the edge of your tongue when someone says, you find out as you're doing your contacts and you're reaching people, what to say that you can have it. Oh, I sell paper chaff, and you expect them to just take it from there and go, oh, well, gee, I want to sign up on your team and I want to have that. You have to have, some people may not even know. I'm reaching a lot of people now who actually my shows over the weekend, majority of them had never been to a paper chaff party before. They were in their late 20s, early 30s, And they had, spent the last 10 years of their life, they were in high school or college, their moms, and as they looked at the catalog, like, oh, I do recognize this stuff. My mom has this, my mom has that. So
Right.
believe it or not, there are a new wave of people coming through who are not familiar with Pampered Chefs. So we need to have that 30-second commercial ready for them.
Do you want to go ahead and tell us what your 30-second commercial is when you meet someone?
Oh, put me on the spot.
I can do mine if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I meet someone, you always want to get to that key magic word because when you're making conversation, and I always start with a compliment. I compliment everyone. I compliment them on their hair, their earrings, their cute skirt, whatever, because then it starts them talking. And then when it inevitably gets to that point with, well, what do you do? And instead of saying your full-time job, if you have a full-time job, ignore Jake, he's sneezing below me. You want to be able to use the magic words, I'm with Pampered Chef. And a lot of times what happens is they'll say, oh my gosh, I love Pampered Chef. And I always say, me too. What's your favorite product? Or when was the last time you saw a book? A lot's changed since then. We have some great kitchen gadgets. For those people that don't know what Pampered Chef is, that's when I say, well, we are the kitchen store that comes to your door. We have some great kitchen products we teach with some really fun hands-on cooking demos, teach you how to get some fast meals and budget-friendly meals on the table. Would that be something you're interested in? And that's kind of what I do.
Okay.
When I'm out and about.
Awesome. Yay! Something very similar. I actually do something very similar, and I always, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later on too, but this is a relationship business. If there's anything we can impress upon you, it's a relationship business thing. It's about setting up relationships with people. Don't think about yourself. As I hear all the time, well, I can't sell. I'm not a salesperson. Neither are we. We are not salespeople. That is the last thing we want to be, or want to feel like we are, or want people to feel like we are. It's about developing a relationship, because what we're doing is helping people, right? Salespeople annoy people. We are here to help them solve their kitchen discrepancies or challenges or whatever, you know what I mean? If they need to learn how to put a dinner together really quick so they can get back out to the soccer field, or while they're at the soccer field, or while they're in the bleachers, that's what we're here for. If we need to help them earn a little extra money, if we need to help them with a van payment, if we need to help them raise money for their for band camp or whatever, Pampered Chef has a solution for all these things. They have a need for Pampered Chef in their life, whether it's as a customer, as a host, or as a consultant. I truly believe everybody in the United States has a need for Pampered Chef in their life, and it's up to us to fill it and find it. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So here we go. We have to learn to be able to tell our story. Okay, and this is something that I want you guys to take your time for this. If you need to pause the video as you're watching this, I want you to do that, because this is an important thing, and I want you to take notes, write it down, and work on telling your story. And this isn't a dissertation on yourself. This is a short story on yourself. Okay, we're going to tell you a little bit more about when and where to use it. But what was your situation before joining the Pampered Chef? Whether you were working outside the home, what your family dynamics look like, etc. I know for Christina, her family numbers and dynamics were the same as they are now, but she was still working a full-time job at that time. For me, I only had one kid, a 2-year-old. I worked full-time, and I was extremely active in my church. So now, having, one 20-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I've been home for 17 years, my dynamics are different than they used to be. So what was your situation before? What were you looking for from the business? Okay. Why did you start? Did you want all the products? Were you looking for a night out? Were you looking for extra money? Were you looking for a van payment? I want you to be specific, because someone in your audience is more than likely going to be very similar to that. Okay. That's why we want to talk about this. What was a concern you had about the business? And how did you solve it? Were you concerned about speaking in front of people? Were you concerned about coming up with the money for the kit? Were you concerned about your husband saying yes? Were you concerned about what your friends would think of you being one of those party people? And how did you solve that? Mine was speaking in front of people. And how did I solve it? My sister just signed me up. I didn't. I actually tried to back out of it, and she wouldn't let me. She bought my kit and made me do it. She, being my sister, she had my social security number. She could do that. But it's the best thing she ever did for me. And she knew that. She was a person who knew me well enough to be able to do that. So what was your concern? How's your life better because of Pampered Chef? Maybe you're new. And maybe it's better just because you had the courage to step outside of a comfort zone and actually to choose to do something like this. Maybe it's better because you're finally being the mom and to your boys that you've always wanted to be, and not having to fit in that kind of mom activity with a full-time, very stressful job. Maybe it's, you know what I mean, you're changing roles. Maybe dad's been the stay-at-home guy, been able to take the kids everywhere and be the field trip person. You know, how's your life better because of Pampered Chef? Are you now able to speak in front of people? Have you now experienced travel with someone else that you didn't have to schedule yourself or pay for? You know, maybe some of those things. What do you hope to accomplish in the next 1 to 3 years with your business? This is one where you may have to hit the pause button and really think about it, but I want you to think about it because this is truly what Christina and I are here to help you do. We care more than you probably realize. We have lots of conversations about this, how much we care about you all in your business. And we want you to reach your goals. We want you to not try to necessarily be our position immediately, but if that's your goal within 1 to 3 years, well, then we can help you do that. There are people all across the country, Pampered Chef, accomplishing these things quickly. Yes, it's work. Yes, it's worth it. And yes, we believe in you. So really sit and think about what you want to accomplish in the next 1 to 3 years. Okay. There are various ways of sharing your story. You can do it all in the strong opening or in your group hello, which we're going to get in a little bit more detail a little later on. You can sprinkle it throughout your show, or you can just wait to the end of your confident close. You like the way we call it a confident close. No wimpy closing. We want you to be confident. You've made it through the party. This is it. You're in the final home stretch. I'm a runner. This is when you are coming down the winning chute to the end and grabbing your medal. Okay, we want you to be confident in your confident close and make this the place that you want to hear your story. So here's the overview of the parts of your party. Your group hello. I'm assuming a lot of you are brand new. Maybe you're doing a lot of virtual parties or you're doing live parties. This can really be done both ways, okay, whether you're live or you're virtual. You're going to do a short and sweet group hello. You want to keep it fun. You want to keep it light. You are setting the tone for your party. And if you make this long, drawn-out dissertation, well, I started because, and you're fidgeting and you're looking around, they're going to be, oh, good Lord, why did I decide to come? They're going to pull out their phone. They're going to be texting their family going, how do I get out of this? They call to get me home. Right? So keep it short and sweet and fun. You are the facilitator of fun. You want just simple spelling, which means you're really just talking about the products and how they have improved your life and how they can improve their life and their situation, but you are definitely a facilitator of fun. These people have chosen to spend their night 1 hour with you, or if this is in a virtual party, whether you're doing a live virtual, if you know what I mean, where it's a 1 hour party, or whether it's spread over a week, they are spending their moment with you. And if each post, especially the first ones, are looking kind of drab and boring, they're going to tune you out right away. So you are definitely want to keep yourself as thinking you are the facilitator of fun, okay? And then when it comes to a confident close, these are getting the guests talking. You're planning your booking stage. You're offering the opportunity. These are where they have just spent an hour with you. They are invested. They're all in. They have gotten their hands dirty more than likely. You have gotten them to know a little bit about their personal lives and how they cook, about their family, about how frustrated they are with it. Their husband doesn't cook, or maybe he does cook and they don't cook, or maybe he doesn't clean up, or maybe they're frustrated or whatever. This is where you've gotten to know them a little bit, and you can come together with a confident close and give them great things. So, and then your next part of a party is the checkout chat. Often you'll hear us call this the full service checkout. I like to call it now a checkout chat. You're going to invite your guests to consider 3 things. You're going to invite them to consider becoming a consultant with you, hosting a party, or whether it be a book party, fundraiser, bridal shower, or a live party, whatever suits your lifestyle at that moment. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they're like, I can't think of even opening my calendar up enough to have a party with you, but I really need to get some things. So you know what I mean? You got to tailor it that way, and that comes from developing that relationship with them throughout the party. Buying products that they used. If you are doing a station style show, this is where you can sit down and say, oh my gosh, Christina, you were rocking that manual food processor station. What did you think of Manny? How did you enjoy using it? What can you see yourself doing with it in your kitchen? What were your favorite things about it? So you want to really get them talking about that. Or you know what, there were so many people here tonight, I'm not quite sure what product, what did you actually get to use the most, and what did you find like the thing that you just went, aha, this is going to solve all my kitchen problems. You know, so start talking to them. That's why we call it a checkout chat, because I want you to be chatting them up and developing a little bit of a relationship with them. And then as they talk about it, you say, great, what else? You know, because they're like, oh my goodness, I couldn't live without that. My girlfriends and I need mommy's nights out, and that new electric lawnmower opener rocked it, man. Between that and the aerator and your wine glass markers, holy mackerel, I think I'm going to be the entertaining queen. All my friends are going to want to come to me every weekend. That is so cool. What else did you like? You know, keep going to them. Well, that's about it. You know, okay. Well, then you want to, you want to keep that going until they finally settle like, well, no, that's it. Well, let's keep the fun going. Let's schedule yours. What, you know what I mean? Christina, your host, do you know that she gets to buy a 50% item off at every party booked from here? I know she's got more items on her list, because I'm pretty sure you weren't able to get everything you got on your wish list. So, okay, you want to keep that up. So there are several different times and places throughout your show that you can sprinkle booking messages, okay?
Definitely.
Anything to add to that, Christina?
Well, for me, I always say when someone's like, I always hear at my shows, hey, do you have this product here? And I never do. I only pack the products that I need for the recipes that we're doing. So I never will bring extra products with me, because it makes my job look harder. So I always will say, I'll say, you know what, I didn't bring that one with me tonight, but I'll bring it at your show. Just to plant that seed right away, so that I'm going to bring it, and then they'll usually laugh, ha ha ha, she thinks I'm having a show. And by the end of the night, I'm booking it with at least one of those people that I said, let's bring that at your show. And then I make a note, bring round covered baker. So I know exactly. At their party.
Exactly. I was just going to say is make sure you write that down on their order form or on their drawing slip.
Calendar.
Yeah, very good. All right, so here's how you do a group hello. You want to introduce yourself. You always want to start with that, because you will more than likely know the host, because that's how you got the party booked. But everybody else in the room may not know you, so you want to say, hey, my name is Bobby Lynn. I want to thank you guys so much for taking a night out of your schedule to come play with Christina and I tonight. I promise to honor your time and respect your time and keep things moving as quickly as I can. Here's how it's going to look. You know, I always like to set the stage there. So here's how it's going to look. You know, if I'm doing a station style show, I'll talk about the stations. I'll talk about the power tools at each station, because that's important. If you really look at how these station style shows, the stations are set up, there's a power tool in every one of them. And I want to know that they get my words about what's so powerful about that tool at each of the stations before they just dive in, because I may not get an opportunity to do that, because I float, you know, and I'm sure you do too, at each of those stations. So you want to set the stage and talk a little bit about them at each of those. And you may even plant a little book in your recruiting seat in there and say, I'm so excited, because all these things, by the way, came in my kit. So I'm really excited to be able to share that I can do this whole party, and you get to have access to the best tools for the average home, and by using what's in my kit. And perhaps you may decide that you can't live without this, and maybe you want to book your own party, or even think about joining my team here. But here's how it's going to look. Look at that at the end of it, when we've all made the recipes and they're all done, or when they're in the oven, depending if there's one that's a bake time. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to gather back to our seats. We'll let you have your catalogs at that point. Take a look. I'll give you the specials. We'll take a little bit more detail about, you know, what Christina, our host, is going to get for hosting the party, and what you guys get as a freebie, because I know Christina's going to get all this free. So if you're thinking, well, don't leave me out, I'm helping her get it. Well, yes, we pay for you as well. You get a free item. We just kind of tell you how the rest of this is going to go. We can talk about what you liked and things like that. So with your station style show recipes, that you can print them out. They do come in your kit. And then you can look at some different ones on Consultants Corner under cooking shows, and it goes into station style shows. You can print all kinds of them, and there's dozens of them on there. Have your booking tips highlighted in red, and have that recipe reader read them aloud. And you can just give them a ticket. Just say, you know what, whoever my recipe reader is in each station, you decide that when you're breaking up into stations. Who's going to be your recipe reader? And say, whoever, you know, when you read those out, you'll get a ticket. You know, make sure you call me over, and you'll get a ticket for that, because it's going to mean a lot more coming from that person who's reading it than for you, because they expect you to say these things. So during your shop and share, once you finish the recipes and you sat back down at your seats with everybody, focus on the higher priced products. Anybody know why we might want to focus on those higher price products? That's right, because they are your booking tools, right? Isn't the rock amazing? Can you see why it's the number one product for my hosts that my hosts like to get for either free or half price? And it's a great reason to host a show. Of course, your host and I would love it if you would buy it full price because she'll end up with more free that way, but we don't expect it. And not to mention, we can just keep the fun going and have you book your own party to get that at half price or even for free. A lot of my hosts can get it for free as well. Promote your theme shows this time of year. It's a great time to do a theme show. If this is a group of people, a lot of times some of the objections that we hear are, well, I don't know anybody. Everybody I know is here at this party. And I'm guaranteeing you that everybody there would come to another party. It will take a round of 3 or 4 parties for people to say, okay, I need a break.
Yeah, I always say, everyone's budget is different every month. So even if they might have a little bit more extra to spend this month, they might not have as much next month, or they might have a little to spend this month and more to spend next month. So you just never know. And there's always going to be stuff on their wish list they're not getting tonight that they can get at your party.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And sometimes when you promote a theme show, it gets them more excited because they're thinking, oh, then they can show that product that they talked about. Did you bring this tonight? Sips and dips. Those are just some drinks and some appetizers. Those are great this time of year because they just want a casual. A lot of people, have you discovered, come to your party having already eaten dinner, right? Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who do. Salad and sangria. I like to do that more in the summertime. In the fall, a good one is wine, cheese, chocolate. Is like I said, these sips and dips. 5 appetizers in 15 minutes. We've got those 3-minute dips that you can do. There's a ton of different theme shows on the Consultants Corner. So you can go ahead and take a look. As a matter of fact, the last item on this slide shows you exactly where to go for that. So you can pause this and go right to that table talk. It gives you lots of theme shows. But you can say something like, "Hey, how's your wish list looking? Is it more than your pocketbook can handle tonight? Well, why not let me help you get it for free or at a deep discount? And when we date your party tonight, Christina will get another half price item at your party. So let's set your date. Do you think your friends would have fun at a party like this?" And they may say, everybody thinks this. They think they don't know enough people. And that's where your host coaching is going to come in, which I think we talk about maybe next time. My calendar doesn't go far enough to do that, but I can to work on that because that's something that you definitely want to do. Which of course I'm not gonna take the cat out of that bag yet. We'll tell you that one then. Right now we're going to talk about booking messages at your party because we're going to show you here in a minute why it's important to book 2 parties at each party. And so then the time of your confident close is when you're going to distribute your catalogs. You're going to encourage wish lists. You can either use the order form if you want or a sticky note. I personally use the printable order forms on Consultants Corner. I don't use a 2-ply mainly because I'm on direct ship now and that screws up shipping and the whole thing confuses them. But also because I like to have the guest special printed right on my order forms. It makes it easier. It's one less flyer that I have to pass around. I like to have it printed right there on the order form because then I'm not passing one thing and they're not like saying, okay, what was it you said we got? Who has that? It's right there. Of course, it's microscopically printed, but we all pass around readers. But encourage a wish list because I guarantee you, they know there's more they want. And they settle on what they can get that night. And if you don't encourage a wish list, you're not helping them realize the value in having a party and that they actually need to have a party. Okay. Shop and share, point out the value on the higher dollar items. The value of a $119 grill pan is that they will use it over and over and over again. By the time they've gone through the drive-through twice, they've paid for that grill pan. Over and over, and it's a lifetime guaranteed pan. So they will have it. It will more than pay for itself by the second use. So that is a great value. Get them thinking outside of that initial price tag on it at that point. You want to get them thinking beyond that because it definitely has a higher value. You mentioned getting the family cooking. My son, your teenagers can use the grill pan. To see them make their own meals is heartwarming, and they can do that with our tools. Get them in the kitchen working, and then the easy cleanup, because if you cook and they clean, you got the value of that and all that. Right. Could they see their friends enjoying something like this party? Oh my God, your friends will love getting together to learn a new recipe. How about wine, cheese, chocolate? How about a chocolate lava cake? That never ceases to impress people, or whatever it is that you've just done. You know what I'm saying? If your heart says one thing, but your wallet says another, you can let me know. I have some options, and I can tell you about for stocking your kitchen for less. That's a big one, because I guarantee you, everybody, doesn't matter how much money they make, they're all thinking about, my husband will not allow me to spend that kind of money. He's going to shoot me if he sees how much I spend. You know what I mean? So, any other effective booking commercials you got, Christina?
I was just looking to see if I had my thing in here. What I'll do is I'll go to the Dollar Tree and I'll get like some of those, like a mason jar cup almost, where it has a straw, and I'll fill it with candy and put a little tag on it that has a date I'm looking to book. And then I usually don't point them out at my shows. I'll point them out at the end. And I'll put dates I'm looking to specifically book. And I use these guys, and we're actually, spoiler alert, these are coming to you if you're green by 15. So these are just little scratch offs. You can write whatever you want in here, and then you put a little scratch off over it, and then you put that in the cup. And then what they get is, I always let them know that if they pick one of my hot dates, that's what I call the dates on the count. If I'm trying to book specific parties and I know my goal is to book 2 from every show, then I say, I have a couple of hot dates here for next month. So if you had so much fun tonight, you want to get together again next month, and you pick one of my hot dates, you get to keep the jar full of candy, plus there's a bonus product in there that as long as you hold your date, you'll get that extra product at your show. And it's a scratch off. So they usually get all excited about that. So that's something that that you can do as like an extra incentive. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be a nylon tool, something that's under $10 that you're still going to add to their order and get the host discount on that product. So you're not paying very much out of pocket to have a show to get you in front of more people. So that's what I've been doing a lot, because my calendar is not as full as I want it to be. So I'm trying to do any incentive I can to get shows on my calendar.
Right. Cool. Awesome. Okay. Give me some ideas. And always ask. Definitely. All right. So for your checkout chat, conversation, like what did you hear or see tonight that caught your attention? That's why we're calling it a chat, because it's all about having a conversation with your people and just talking to them. What did you see tonight that caught your attention? Or, because maybe it was something that we said too. That's what we say here. What's on your wish list? How can you help them get it? Obviously, it's either by booking a party or having them join your team. You want to take out the biggest rock first. Then what's going to be the one tool that's going to make the biggest difference in their life? And believe me, everybody has a mealtime issue. Everybody does. Maybe it's they can't get enough veggies in their kids. Maybe it's they don't have enough time to make a healthy meal. Maybe it's everybody likes different things and they're freaking out because they feel like a short order cook. Maybe they're spending too much time on the field. Like I know when I'm in cross country and track season, practice runs from 4 to 6. Well, what time do you think we're eating dinner? Either we're eating it at 2 o'clock because we have to have time to process before we get out on the field, or we're eating it at 7 o'clock. So you have to take a look at those kinds of things. What's the biggest rock? What is their biggest challenge? And that's what I like to say. Well, tell me about your lifestyle. Tell me about how your family eats, and I will help you work around that. Okay? Assume they all want to party. So when can we get your friends together for that sips and dip party? Or
fajitas and margaritas.
Or lunch and a crunch, or what?
Fajitas and margaritas.
Fajitas and margaritas, right. Assume they want to have it. Whose house are we going to go to? Who's that? This was just far too much fun to be stopping it right here. Whose house are we going to next? Right? Write these down on a card and have them at your party so that you can remember what to say. If you're bringing, if you like your calendar or a notebook that you have right at your checkout chat, don't be embarrassed to have that with you there. And if someone says, I want to give you the best party experience possible. So if that means that I have to write notes to remember how to help you, then that's what it means. I care enough about you that I want you to get the best experience. So don't ever be embarrassed about having note cards. Okay. If they have objections, it actually means they've been thinking about having a party. Otherwise, they wouldn't be, they say, oh no, I'm not interested. That's not an objection. An objection is my house is too small. I don't know enough people. My husband would never let me. My kids go to bed too early. I don't have time. Those really mean that they have truly thought about having a party. So it's your way of working, you just have to have a conversation with them and say, okay, well, you know what, if we could solve that, would you be ready to have that sips and dip party? If I showed you that, if we found another place for you to do, if we worked with a calendar, would that help you decide that? Because I really want to help you get that rock. I saw how much you wanted it. I know how much it's going to help your lifestyle. Let's find a way to make that happen for you. Okay. So that's what those objections mean. And it's a lead if it's not dated, okay? So don't be coming and telling me and Christina, you booked a party at your party. Great. When is it? Well, we're following up. Blah, blah, blah. No. That's not a booking yet. It's a lead. L-E-A-D. B-O-O-K-I-N-G, right? Okay, so just remember that. How do you take a yes or maybe to a dated booking? If they say, yeah, I'd love to have a party. Pull out your calendar right then and there. You need to have it when you're doing your checkout chat and say, super, my next 2 dates are the 22nd and the 20th. Which one of those works best for you? And if they say, oh gosh, I can't do that week. Okay, well, the following week I'm gone. But my next 2 dates, I have the 15th and I have the 12th. Which ones of those would work for you? Keep going.
Can I just point out what you did there? Because I don't think people caught it. So typically when you're giving 2 dates, if you're giving the sooner date last, that's the date they're going to pick. So when you're sitting there and you're saying the 22nd or the 20th, I'm already thinking the 20th because that's the last date I heard without even looking at my calendar. So
Right.
That's a key. If you want a specific date booked, say that date last.
Right.
That's the one they'll typically pick.
Right. And not to mention, you see where I said my next 2 dates are, right? And see, and then because the next line on here says 2 choices, just 2. Don't say, well, I got the 19th, 20th, 22nd, 25th. I did 2 things wrong there. I said it in the wrong order, and I gave you 2. They're like, oh, blah, 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 slow down. I can't think that way. That's what they're doing. You just want to give them 2 choices. Boom, boom. Okay, well, and then they're looking. I know that doesn't work. All right. Well, then my next 2 are this. Okay. Maybes. How do you take that maybe to a dated booking? A maybe is kind of like that objection. They want to do it. They're just not sure when. Right? So it's like, maybe. And sometimes it's just that they can't do it next week and they need a little bit more time, or they need a couple weeks before they can get it on the calendar. So we say, okay. So I see you said maybe. Are you trying to figure out, is it this month or next month that you're having a challenge with? Is it that you don't know if you can fit it into your, if you don't have the right space, or maybe you want to try to do it at work, but you're not sure if that's an option. Work through that maybe, but just ask more questions. Just keep asking questions till you get to the bottom line of what it is. Right? You have any other tips on that one?
I always say I'm like a doctor's office. When you go to the dentist, and the dentist, you do your cleaning, and then they want you back in 6 months, and they say, do you want a morning or an afternoon? I do the same thing. Do you want a weeknight or a weekend? And then once they give me that, then I give them 2 dates. I have this date or this date. Which works better for you? Because it might not be a perfect date, but it's going to work better than the other date. So then you pick that date, and then I give them a choice. Do you want a 6:30 or a 7 o'clock start time? Because again, I'm having them feel like they're in control, even though I'm booking them when I want them.
Right. So. And then the last one, we talked about how do you respond to, let me check with my family and friends. The best thing to do is just say, well, you know what, let's go ahead and pencil you in. When we pencil these in, that way Christina gets the credit for the booking, and we've got you on the calendar. The date is reserved. We can always follow up. We'll be in contact a few times between now and then. You can make sure if that doesn't work and we need to tweak the date and the time, then we can tweak the date and the time. But let's go ahead and pencil you in, because I have other parties coming up as well, and I want you to get the best date for you. And the longer we wait, the harder that's going to be. So let's just go ahead and pencil that in.
I do something very similar. As I say, if they're a maybe and they're like, well, I don't really know what they're going to think yet. I don't know what my family and friends are, if they're going to have that date available. And I say, well, you know what? When you tell them that you're going to have a Pampered Chef party, the first thing they're going to say is, okay, great. When is it? So it's good for you to have that date first, and then let them know, okay, I'm going to have a Pampered Chef party next Friday night. Can you come? They're going to know right away whether or not they can come, and that's really going to help you to be able to get that show booked, because then they'll go, oh, you know what? You're right. They will. So I approach it that way, and I'll say, let's go ahead and get it on the calendar, because when you're telling people that you're going to have this party, the first thing they're going to ask you is, well, when is it?
Good point. Very good for me.
So that's what I do.
Okay. So the party's over. Are you done yet? No. Okay, so all the guests have left. This is where you want to wrap up with your host. And this is probably one of your most important host coaching opportunities, which I know we're going to talk about in the next class. But this is a very important part of your party. You can still get bookings from here. So when you're talking to your host, you're wrapping up with her, telling her where you're at in sales, telling her who, was interested in booking a party or whatever. Say, okay, who was not able to make it tonight? Have them pull out their host folder. Who was not able to make it tonight? And go over those. Oh, perfect. Is she kind of one of those people that you think would like to have a party? Since she wasn't able to come and experience the fun, I would hate for her to have missed out on this. Can I follow up with her? Morning after calls. You can either do a morning after call or a morning after email. I personally like to do emails because I like to send a recipe with it. And then you can kind of say a little bit more and follow up with phone calls on the outside orders of people who weren't able to come.
Do you send those, just so I can ask, do you send your emails to the entire party, or do you do an individual for each person separately?
I blind copy it to the
Okay.
entire party. Yeah.
Okay.
And like we said, the outside, the morning after calls, your outside orders, those are people you want to come. I am so sorry, Christina, that you were not able to make it last night. Oh my God, we laughed our heads off over that manual food processor and what these people, they were just laughing their head off and smacking that thing. I call, calling it Manny, and Manny needs got a headache now. Just tell them about how much fun they missed. That's going to create the desire to have their own party. You know what? I'm so sorry you missed that. We laughed so hard, but man, you know what? I'd hate you to miss it. And so let's have your own. We can continue that. We've got some great. We've got a few dates left before the holidays. People are really excited about it. Not everybody could get everything they wanted. There were several other people who weren't able to make it either. So let's go ahead and get you a party scheduled as well. Okay. You want to really reach out to them and talk to them. Don't act like you're a canned speech. Talk to them like a human being, but really bring them to the fun of what the party was. People will want to do something that's fun. Fence sitters, the people who were maybes or just were like, I don't know, and maybe, they just needed to get out, or that you could just tell that they needed a little more private time. Maybe they just didn't want to talk in front of other people. The guests that booked, that did actually book, call them too. Get them excited. Oh my gosh, Christina, thank you so much. Host Michelle and I can't believe that you are that excited about it, and I'm excited to come share more with you. Thank you very much for booking the party. She can't wait to get the I don't know, whatever product, the veggie spiralizer to go with her rock crock at your party. She reserved a higher priced item to be able to buy it at your party because she gets something at 50% off. So I'll be in touch. I'd start working on your guest list right now. You can tell everybody about how much fun you had and that we're going to be using, whether there's something, because at this point I typically know what item she wants at her party, and I like to put a recipe to that item. So if it's a piece of the cookware, if it's the all-purpose pot, oh my goodness, I can't wait to show you how you can do spaghetti and meatballs all at one time in there. Or how you can do chili and cornbread all at one time in there. Whatever, okay? You'll discuss what kind of food it fits her lifestyle. So don't forget to do that, because that is going to create more bookings for you. Besides just having an amazing show, she's going to help create more bookings for you. Host incentives, I love this time of year when in December, it's any one item of choice at 60% off. That is a host dream. They get to pick. If they've been waiting all year long for it to be cookware or the knife set or the all-purpose pot set, whatever, this is the time for them. Okay, so the host incentives. So between getting that at 60% off and then there are other host benefits at this time of year, oh good Lord, they're going to rack up big and share it with them that way, right? It's exciting. Other ideas, Christina?
I do pretty much the same thing. I don't usually ever book the month based on the host special anyways. The host special is a bonus. So
but this one I do because it's amazing.
Yeah. It is our free-for-all too. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I hadn't noticed that yet.
6,000 in sales is the top level, both December and January. So I think we're going to have an amazing spring launch of products.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I can't wait. Again, I got into this for products, so that does get my heart rate up.
Yeah.
So start those conversations with people, okay? They love hearing from you for service issues. How are they using it in their kitchen? what is their challenge in the kitchen. You like, especially when we were at these vendor events over the weekend, and oh, I love Pamper Chef Super. What's your favorite product? And they tell you and say, well, great. Is there anything that you have gotten before, by the way, that you're having a hard time with? Let me help you with that. I had another vendor event yesterday, and that's what some people were telling me. And I said, give me your email address. Let me send you some ideas for that product, because my goal is not that you just have it and don't use it. I want you to actually use it, because it's not working like you thought it would. Let's get you something that will. Because you didn't go into the warranty. Right? All right, so here I alluded to this earlier, booking 2 parties at every party no matter what. And here's why. Okay, so we have worked hard up to this point in your business to schedule 6 to 8 parties on your show, on your calendar. All right, so you have 6 shows booked. It's common. It is going to happen that you'll have 2 cancellations. Something is going to happen. Something's going to come up. People are going to get sick. Someone's going to have an issue come up. Their husband suddenly is out of town, whatever. All right, you're going to end up with 2 cancellations. So that means you have 4 shows held. If you get 2 bookings from each of those shows, well, you now have 8 shows going into the following month, right? Versus if you had 6 shows, 2 of them canceled, you're down to the 4 shows. But if you only got 1 from each of those, now you only have 4 shows. You have half the amount of business for the following month. Okay? So back to month 2 with the 8-show calendar. You start with 8 shows, you have 2 cancellations, 6 shows held. Well, if you book 2 from each of those shows, you now have 12 shows. Well, that's probably more than 1 month's worth of parties. Now you're through the rest of the year and starting into the following year, right? Whereas with month 2, starting with 4 shows, 2 of those cancel. Now you're down to 2 shows. If you get 1 booked from each of those, you go into the next month with only 2 shows. So do you want to start month 3 with 12 shows or 2 shows, right? I mean, besides the obvious, you maybe think, well, I'm still okay. I got 2 parties. Well, let me show you what's going to happen here. If you start month 3 with 12 shows booked, 2 of those end up canceling. Again, it happens. You got 10 shows held. You get 2 bookings from each of those. You have 20 shows. Oh my Lord, that's a full fiscal quarter of parties right there. 20 shows. How can you possibly fit all that in? However, if you're in the month 3 of only having 2 shows, both of those canceled, you're left with nothing on your calendar. So you certainly can't book any parties out of nothing. And you're back to the drawing board where you started in the very first beginning of your business, right? Whereas, would you like to go into month 4 with 0 shows or go into month 4 with 20 shows, right? More bookings, more sales, more team members. It's all about being in front of more people.
Right.
And your business is more fun that way. Is it not fun when we have a full calendar?
Very, very fun. And my paycheck is fun.
Yeah, that's true. Money is fun. All the fun things we wanted to do. We can remember why we started this business. For the money that's going to help us get the van payment, van cams, the mortgage payment, being able to quit that full-time job like Christina and I do. I mean, and once you work for yourself and you've earned some of these things, you don't want to go back and punch someone else's time clock. That's not fun. Because let me tell you what, they don't reward you like you do or like Pamper Chef does. So let's go back to our why we started this in the first place. What got us energized? You worked really hard to put those 6 shows on your calendar. Let's continue. Now that you've done them, let's continue to keep that on your calendar. Okay? So here's our call to action. I want you to practice your booking lines for your group below. Simple group selling. Have a confident close with 1 other person in this group and 2 other adults, okay? So I want you to call someone, whether it's your director. Believe me, we want to hear from you. We are not annoyed if you call us. We're not going to look at our phone and go, oh my God. No, we're like, woohoo! They called me, right? Believe me, we do that. So do that with 1 other person in this group. Maybe it's one of the other team members who are also in this program. And then with 2 other adults, maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's your child, maybe it's your dog, maybe it's yourself in the mirror, for goodness sakes. But it's best if you can do it with 2 other adults because they're live people. They're going to give you expression. They're going to give you some feedback. And heck, you may even get a booking or a recruit out of that. I did that one time, and I got a recruit.
Me too.
She's still with me.
Me too. I practiced. My first 90 days, I practiced my call scripts on everybody. And I took parties from it because they were like, yeah, okay, sure, let's do it. I'm like, wait, are you answering for real or because you're practicing with me?
And it's so true, guys. So please don't be offended by that, because you know what? This is your business, and they will treat it like a business if you treat it like a business. They're going to say, oh, yeah, Bobby Lynn's still doing that cooking thing. Who believes that? Man, all these years I thought she would have given that up. I just thought she was playing around. Oh my God, no, she's actually serious about this. They're going to take you more serious if you treat it like a business.
Right.
And they treat it that way too. So make your 15 contacts a week outside of your show, doing your power hour. With these parties that you now have on your calendar, you're going to have customer care calls that you can make up. You're going to have morning after calls and follow-up that you can do, okay? Vendor events are aplenty out there right now. It is the season for putting up a booth, man. And all kinds of places are doing it. Call your local churches. Call some of your schools are starting to do them. Every park that you can think of, call and look at their schedule of events. Okay, you're going to find them everywhere. They are plentiful out there, and a lot of like I just got another one today for someone that wants to do a I'm going to call it a vendor event, but it's in one of those in a home, where you have several vendors.
Yep.
I got one of those today. Those people are popping right now, and they all want to do it right now because they want people to shopping. Okay, so they're out there. And after every show, again, you want to track it. Fill out your 90-day tracker and call your director with it. We want you to call us. We're doing show-based coaching, you want to say. Remember, I have that show and tell on our page. I'm not hearing from many people. Christina, are you hearing from your girls?
I'm hearing from my new ones because just like my brand new ones, but I'm not hearing from the rest of them that much at all.
Yeah, I know you're out there doing business because I'm seeing the sales pop up. So call us.
We want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. I feel like I love Dancing with the Stars. I feel like these stars, after they've had their judging, call. I want to hear from you. Right? So all these activities need to be completed and emailed to your director by the Saturday night before the next Zoom call. Okay. So the next Zoom is November 27th. That's Sunday, November 27th.
Yeah.
Right? We'll be talking about host coaching.
Yes, we will.
I'm going to try to come in on it, but I can't promise. I think I'm in Venice at that time. I may be I don't know. I don't think I'm on my boat yet, so I'm going to try. If I can get on, I will. But the time is like 7 hours ahead of where we are.
Yeah, you're good. Well, I'll take care.
I'd like to leave you with a little bit of inspiration. You'll give me a pass on that?
I'll give you a pass.
I like to leave you a little bit of inspiration. So be intentional at your parties and listen throughout the party so that when you get to that checkout chat, you're just responding to their needs. And I love this great quote from Stephen Covey. It says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. You know the difference in that. Okay? You want to understand their needs. You want to understand where they're coming from. Then you don't look like a salesperson either. If you're just listening to reply, you've gotten the scenarios and you know what to reply. You need to understand these people. Again, it's a relationship business. And the most basic and powerful way to connect to another person is to listen. Just listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention. And we know that. Those of you with kids, you really get that.
Yes.
A loving silence often has far more power to heal and to connect than the most well-intentioned words. Right? So we believe in you. We appreciate you. We're excited for you. How to make those parties great. Book 2 parties from every party and end up with 20 in 4 months. Right? You got more to share, Christina?
I think that's it. Yeah, we'll see you guys. I will for sure see you back here on the 27th, and we will be talking about host coaching, but please don't let it go 2 weeks without touching base with us and letting us know what's going on and posting on the team page so it's not just Bobby and I.
That's right. That's right.
Be active. That's what we're here for. We might be busy with something else, but there are hundreds of people that can answer the same questions and build that team atmosphere that we're looking for. So you guys are doing great. And we're so excited to be part of it.
And we'll see you guys next Monday too, right?
Yes, team training.
We're having some food.
We have some fun planned.
All right, fun activity. Yes.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.